Let's talk about the Global Pet Expo, because according to LinkedIn and everyone who visited Clayton, this was incredible. What an event. I mean, the exhibitors were amazing. The innovation was truly a thing of beauty, and all the reviews were absolutely insane. And then I spoke to you. So tell me all about it.
So this year, like the Global Pet Expo, I think there was two things it suffers from. Like I just want to go on record and said anybody who's been there who is speaking privately about it will tell you it was enormously underwhelming this year. I think underwhelming is the right word for it. Underwhelming for exhibitors because the footfall was definitely down, and you can put this down, I think, a lot to Trump's tariffs. So I think 70% of Canadians didn't attend Global this year, but also just innovation-wise, like maybe my standards are set so high because of my podcast and because I do talk to so many innovative companies, but it was pretty crap, man. It was pretty much, you know, another kibble dog food, with a funny story behind it, or just very run of the mill, like Chinese rubbish everywhere. I was asked to speak to some people, to like look at their products, and like the products which I was looking at were like, okay, this is the same crap that's been coming out of China for the last 10 years. Like, what is this? I mean, how can I even talk about it as being innovative or different or anything like that? And, I mean, there was some things which were kind of nice. There was some interesting kind of companies where you look at them and they go, yeah, no, I quite like that. But nothing that like blew my hat off and said, right, this could be really something. This is something really, and also no strong theme this year either. Like normally, when you go to an expo, there'll be something which is strong, like there'll be sustainability, or there'll be insect, or there'll be like fresh meat, or there'll be something which just everybody is getting on the bandwagon on. It was just very, very, very dead this year. It was very depressed. And I think, look, I like expos because I like expos, but I think if let's say someone like you had gone, I think you'd be badly disappointed that you made the journey, to be honest.
What would you have wanted to see?
Just things that make sense. Like again, like anybody can create. Like, so there was one company that made like a litter tray for cats, and it's got like cameras on it, and like it takes photos of the cat, and it analyzes the poop and all this sort of stuff. Has like a heat sealing machine, and you're like, this is kind of interesting, but like it's $1,000 product, and it's like, okay, it's fine, but it's like there's no scale in this. There's no like, who's buying this? Who's buying $1,000 cat litter? It's like, or like, I mean, there was also hilarious things. Like there was one company that made a hat called Distractor hat, right? And it was like a licky mat stuck on a baseball cap, and it was like, it was like, oh, cutting your dog's nails, use Distractor hat, and it's just like, that's, good luck not getting your face bitten off in the meantime, to be honest. Do you know what I mean? That's not innovation, man. That's just like being fucking ridiculous. Like it's when you see, like, I remember when I went to Hong Kong in like 2006, and I first saw the Chinese chicken products, and you're like, wow, this is actually really interesting. This could actually really take a piece of the market. It's like, or you see, I don't know, just different types of natural treats, or a different way of cooking dog food, or just a different take on something, and you go, yeah, this could, like, this meets the price points. This is truly something different, and this could actually be mass scale. And you look at it and you go, yeah, that's super interesting. I didn't see none of that. I just saw ridiculous crap, to be honest.
You mentioned a lot of Chinese rubbish. Expand on that.
So, it's the old story of like plastics just general Chinese plastics, general Chinese dog treats, um, just dog crates, just real stuff that's been around for like 20 years, 30 years, um, which they're just producing cheaply in China. And you've got some which are being exhibited by the Chinese section, and the Chinese section now in these shows is always dead. Like people are just like done with it, and then you go to the rest of the show, and there'll be stands, and they'll have them as their own brand, but you're still like, do I need to see more Chinese stuff? Not really. Do you know what I mean? Everyone knows you buy this from China. It's kind of, it has that look, you have that feel. I mean, there was, I would say probably if I had to put my finger on something that I like the most, I would say I saw one company that did like a stick a day cat treat, which was every day had like a different supplement in it. Like one was a skin and coat, one was like a teeth, one was a something else. And yeah, that looked kind of interesting, but I'm like, how much of the actual supplement is in there? Is it really going to do anything? But at the same time, conceptually, you buy a roll of 7 sticks, stick a day for your cat. Each day serves a different function. I kind of like that idea. That was quite a nice idea. But that's a relatively low bar in terms of innovation for me, to be honest.
Yeah. In terms of China and other countries, you say that a lot of people are done with China, or they know what to expect from the Chinese supply chain, as it were. Could other countries overtake China or try to make a dent? India, Turkey, Vietnam. I don't know.
Yeah, I think the reason I'm done with China, and I think the pet specialty trade is done with China, is because China is serving everyone. In America, they're serving the Targets directly. They're serving the, you name it. You name the retailer, they'll serve them directly. And look, for you, Sam, you could buy direct from China with
Yeah.
your source. I mean, so what interest is it to your average pet specialty person who's going there? So that's one thing. Other countries, yeah, look, there's good stuff coming out of countries like Turkey, Vietnam, India, for sure. Um, my fear is, though, it's very likely to go the same way. And look, we're already seeing it with India. So, like, the buffalo products, like you've got Knorr, for example, who are just doing Indian buffalo products. And as again, I was buying Indian buffalo products like 15 years or so ago, and it was quite good. You had the buffalo throats, the buffalo lung, buffalo ears, that sort of stuff. But like, yeah, the rest of it. I mean, look, we already get a lot of the steel. The steel bowls all come from India already. So those steel bowl guys, they go to every single show you want to think of. But again, the problem is that they're not. They're in it for the volume. They're not in it for the brand. They're not in it for the that side of it. So like, this is my issue with all of them, is that the moment you see these guys at the shows, why would you even talk to them? Because they're not doing anything that's pushing the industry forward. If you buy from them, they're also selling to the Home Bargains of this world or whoever else. And so and maybe they're just there for the Home Bargains of this world and the Targets and people like that. But I think for me, looking at innovation and that sort of stuff, it's just stuff that's been around for a long time. They're just tearing it up and doing it.
I mean, it begs the question because, yes, I have tried to import treats and things from China, but I mean, their chicken is translucent and the meat is translucent, and that's the same meat or quote unquote meat that you get from treats from B&M, and you're like, yeah, this is the same jerky the guy was trying to flog me. That's one thing. And I don't speak Mandarin, and that's a great shame on me. But they can't speak English either, and communicating is really, really hard with the Chinese.
I can put you in touch with numerous countries the companies in China that do when you say the meat's translucent, they all use glycerin in the meat, and that's what gives it that long lasting thing. It's also what makes it bendy and rippable. like it's not a pure meat product. It's a meat and glycerin product. But look, I think and look, there are lots of these companies that are difficult to deal with, but there's also lots which are easy to deal with. So it's not as hard as it once was to deal with these companies, to be fair. And you don't need to necessarily go over to them like you used to either anymore either. So, and look, these companies, they're all in competition with everyone else. So the further they can get down the chain towards the buyer, they don't give a monkeys about brands. So the days of, Pet Munchies or whoever being their guys in the UK, they don't care about that. They're sort of like, because there's another half a dozen factories to do exactly the same thing for exactly
The
the same price.
Chinese are so competitive. It's unbelievable as a nation and how productive they are as a nation in all fields. They are the factory of the world. And it's insane. They are everywhere. And they're such hard workers and they are pro business and they're hard working. And I mean, they can't really criticize anything, but
No, look, I mean, look, there's a reason why everything is Chinese, like within certain sectors, because they are extremely efficient. They're very cheap. They're pretty reliable. But if you're looking to build, unless you're like a mega company and you're looking to build an actual viable business model, it can't involve China too strongly because they don't give a monkeys. The moment somebody else is over there going, yeah, we'll have that, it's gone. Your IP's gone. Good luck with that, So I think anybody who is out there saying, well, China's my way forward, good luck with that. I think everything has to be relatively either made over here or made in Europe or made in a economy where they'll give you some level of distribution rights to give you some kind of protection.
That's really, really interesting because I actually was listening to Mr. Wonderful, Kevin O'Leary from Shark Tank in the US, and he was making the point. He was actually defending Trump's tariffs on China. And the point he was making was that he had to compete with Chinese companies who were thieving his IP. Whenever you go into China, apparently you go into business with the Chinese government who take 51% of the venture. They rip off your IP. And then they can go to Goldman Sachs or whomever in the US, raise capital, go on the stock markets, and there is no recourse. You can't really sue them, and it's really, really like murky business. So do you think the pet industry has caught on to this, and that's why they're a bit more reluctant to do business with China? Or am I just like...
No, look, I think it's valid. I think the problem is that, look, just if you think about, because obviously we're in the pet industry, but I think like we could say we're more in the pet specialty. And I think, look, China is still massive for the wider pet industry in terms of the B&Ms, like the ranges, all, grocery, that sort of stuff. But I think that, look, the consumers are not so silly as so I had a conversation with someone the other day. He had some Trixie treats on his shelf and they were all the Chinese products. And I said to them, why are you selling them? Why are you not selling Carney Love treats, for example? And he said, well, Trixie do me a good deal. And, I'm the only one around here doing Trixie. And I said, I'm not being funny, man. That just looks like Chinese crap. No one is looking at that label and going, oh, well, it's Trixie. They're just looking, and that's Chinese crap. It's the same Chinese crap I'll get at B&M's. It's the same Chinese crap I'll get anywhere. It's just no one's looking at dried chicken breast, which clearly comes from China, and going, oh, yeah, because that's Trixie, that makes a massive difference to me. It makes no difference. It just looks like Chinese crap. Get rid of it, because you're just competing against the B&M's of this world, and they're going to smoke you in a head-to-head battle. So just don't play ball with them, And in terms of the tariffs, I think, look, I'm I'm not against the tariffs. I think that my issue with the tariffs is the speed at which they've been brought in at is kind of very detrimental to people because everybody's like all over the place from them. But I also understand that like when you work within a democratic system where you have 4 years, a 4 year term and 18 months until the midterms, you need to turn things around like tomorrow. You can't be like going, well, we're going to have a 3 year gradual movement where we're gradually going to open up these factories and in the US and like gradually make all this stuff. It's got like, because by the time the midterms come, people are going to be, well, I haven't really done anything. Let's vote for the other side. And then you've lost your power. So he's got to just go full on wallop. And like, is that the right way to do it? Probably not in an ideal solution, but I kind of get why he's doing it, to be honest. And
well, fair enough. In Trump's words, it's going to be beautiful. The bond market is going to be beautiful in the end, and all
it's
these
going to be
things.
great. It's going to be great.
It's going to be everything is going to be beautiful and going to work out fine. Everything is great, phenomenal, the best in history.
Best pet industry ever. Like you're gonna love it. It's going to be fantastic. No other pet industry like it.
Yeah, circling back to the Global Pet Expo, very, very underwhelming, folks, and that's a real opinion.